Ruth Aguela. The third Turkey-Africa Partnership Summit has ended in Istanbul with the adoption of a joint declaration of commitment to further strengthen and deepen the win-win cooperation in the interests of the states and their peoples. Participants also commit themselves to cementing collaboration on current issues in the global arena, including health, peace, security, governance and justice. State House correspondent Adam Musambo reports that President Muhammadu Buhari, who led Nigeria's delegation to the summit, is back in Abuja.
Convened by the Turkish leader Recep Tayyip Erdogan, participants to the Turkey-Africa Partnership Summit, including President Muhammadu Buhari, resolved to focus on peace, security and justice, human-focused development, as well as strong and sustainable growth. Implementation, they say, will be made through a joint action plan 2022 to 2026 under 5 strategic cooperation areas, including trade, investment and industry, education, science, technology, innovation, skills, infrastructure development and agriculture, as well as promoting resilient health systems. The summit decided that appropriate follow-up mechanisms will also be established for monitoring and evaluation of agreed areas of cooperation. Meanwhile, on the margins of the summit, Defense Minister Bashir Magashi had a strategic engagement with the Turkish Minister of National Defense, Hulusi Akar, on the fight against terrorism, insurgency, and other acts of criminality disrupting peace and security in Nigeria.
Discussions on vital equipments that can help us to fight the insurgents in our own country. Gun helicopters, attack helicopters, and some other weapons that are precise in the operation of counterinsurgency in Nigeria. And the country is willing to assist, and we are going to pursue it to a logical conclusion. No country will tolerate any kind of insurgency in their own area. And I think Nigeria has tolerated this thing for quite a long time, almost 10 years. But with all these requirements we are now making efforts to have, I'm sure the end of banditry insurgency will come to an end very soon.
The Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Ihanere, also speak on the major takeaways for Nigeria's health sector.
Yeah, for the Ministry of Health was an opportunity to touch bases with the Turks and tell them what our main interests are in developing primary health care, strengthening secondary health care, and improving our super specialty hospitals like ear centers, eye centers, and head and neck centers. And it also opens to the Turks what opportunities there are in Nigeria for investment. They are eager to connect with Africa, and Nigeria, of course, is a very promising destination when it comes to connecting with Africa. And in that respect, investment opportunities exist.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has since returned to Abuja. He was accompanied on the visit by the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, several ministers, and other senior government officials. In Abuja, Adam Musambo, NTA News.
Following that development, President Muhammadu Buhari was in Turkey on a special request by the Turkish president this December to participate in the third Turkey-Africa Partnership Summit. A statement released by the senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, says that Turkey is serious about working with Africa in a win-win relationship. Let's see that.
With annual trade between Turkey and Africa reaching $5.5 billion in 2003, Turkey's embrace of Africa, the statement says, is a logical path to follow, given the country's quest to become the fastest growing economy in Europe. Today, trade between Africa and Turkey has risen to $26 billion under the Erdogan leadership, and the country has grown its presence in Africa from 12 embassies to 42. While Turkish airlines fly to 50 destinations in 30 African countries. The position of the president's team at the summit is to support partnership through the multilateral processes. All 6 ministers on the delegation held meetings to deepen the good bilateral relations and seek partnerships that Nigeria stands to gain from. Earlier in October, President Erdogan and President Buhari had signed 3 memoranda of understanding and 4 agreements on a variety of subjects that include political consultation, energy, hydrocarbons, mining, youth, double taxation, reform and development of defense industries, cooperation, DIC in Kaduna. Turkey today not only has a modern defense industry, but one that is technologically advanced and has intervened in many international conflicts. Turkish technology through the supply or manufacture of military ordnance in Nigeria will surely quicken the process and efforts to rid the country of pockets of terrorists and the menace of kidnappers and bandits. A team from the Turkish defense establishment is expected to be in Nigeria in January to advance discussions on the issue of military procurement. The national security component equally has a Turkish angle to it. Both countries have a common view of what they perceive as a security threat to their nation and its leaders' presence in Nigeria. This is about some Turkish investments, schools and hospitals, with an opposition figure linked to the abortive coup and attempted assassination of President Erdogan. The government of Nigeria, the statement stressed, will not allow any part of the country to be used to undermine a friendly state such as Turkey. It added that with Nigeria's strict central bank and financial intelligence units governance structure and management, money from the investments cannot be moved anywhere to finance subversive activities, while the protection of foreign investments is sacrosanct. Turkey, the statement notes, has achieved so much in infrastructure and added that Turkey should help to diversify Nigeria's reliance on just one country for infrastructural development. In the not-too-distant future, the administration of the Federal Capital Territory will be receiving the team of investors, including the world-famous Maari Foundation, to be shown exact locations for the setting up of a 5-star hotel and conference center, schools, and a world-class hospital. 3 other companies have a strong interest in other areas, with the first in oil and gas, from which a good outcome is expected by the group managing director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company and the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. One of the other investors is coming with interest in the Abuja property market, real estate and the creative industry, especially filmmaking, and another with interest in the construction sector. President Buhari, given a special opportunity to speak, called for increased support for Africa in fighting terrorism, vaccine equity and manufacture on the continent, and for combined efforts to address the effects of climate change.
All right, let's turn to other issues. Senate President Ahmed Lawan says the National Assembly will continue to support President Muhammadu Buhari to enable him to deliver more dividends of democracy to Nigerians. He gave this assurance in Gombe while flagging off empowerment program for APC supporters.
The Senate President Ahmed Lawan believes President Muhammadu Buhari has, for the past 6 years, remained desirous and succeeded in turning around the fortunes of Nigeria, while asking Nigerians to continue to believe in the capacity of the present administration. Ahmed Lawan congratulated Governor Inu Yahya for emulating President Buhari in the area of human and capital development.
Event of empowerment of our constituents, especially in Gombe North. Definitely, this requires that we thank Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari, who is the leader of this party in this country, who has given us great leadership.
Governor Muhammad Inwa disclosed the engagement of 3,700 youth by his administration as part of efforts to empower them towards self-reliance. Our leader, President Buhari, is bent on transforming Nigeria. Despite the economic challenges, we appreciate him for his leadership. Hundreds of members of All Progressives Congress in Gombe State received empowerment tools courtesy of Senator Saidu Umar Al-Ghali. Zara Umar Adam, NTA News.
The federal government is working assiduously to give a new lease of life through its sustainable strategic plan of return, resettlement and local integration of the internally displaced persons across the country. Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, stated this commitment at a flag off of another round of food and household items distribution to IDPs in Niger State. Let's hear the details from Fatima Ali.
Urgent to responding to the plight of the internally displaced persons in the country, the federal government flagged off another phase of distribution of food and other items to IDPs in Niger State to cushion the effects of hardship of the vulnerables. The palliative distributed includes rice, other varieties of grains and assorted foods, as well as household and kitchen items necessary for those at the camps. Representative of the Federal Commissioner, National Commission, Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons says the sustainable strategic plan of the federal government through collaborative efforts with other sister agencies is already yielding positive results. This is for the construction of 100,000 units each in Borno and Katsina states as a pilot scheme which will be replicated in the trouble zone states across the country.
The Commission is making effort across the country to resettle our persons of concern.
We've handed over formally to the IDPs directly, and the camp manager is to oversee and make sure it's used judiciously.
We only have few food left. So coming of this National Refugees Commission with assistance today is something that I should be happy.
The items are expected to be distributed to other internally displaced persons camps in Niger State. Fatima Ali, NTA News.
The Federal Commissioner of the National Commission for Migrants, for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, has stated a commitment that the federal government will continue to provide shelter and resettlement for people. I'm talking about the IDPs in Kefi. Now, this was during the foundation laying ceremony of IDPs resettlement in Kefi, Nasarawa State. Suleiman Musa reports.
The internally displaced persons who are yearning for a shelter and start a new life will soon realize their dreams as the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons renewed commitment to providing befitting accommodation that include facilities such as market, police station, hospital, ranch and farmland, among others, that will host thousands of IDPs in Kefi.
Most of these displaced people have lost not just their livelihood, but also their homes. So this will help to address the problems, especially for IDPs in Wasa. We're already mobilized by the federal government, so we're going to push the consultants and the contractors to ensure that they deliver in a very timely manner.
Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule pledged continuous support to the Commission as the state government is open to development partners in bridging infrastructural deficit in the state.
For me, I always say that it doesn't matter which part of Nasarawa State we are bringing development, just bring it. Once we are able to bring it, that is one huge relief for government.
This resettlement, if completed, will address critical housing challenge of persons of concern, especially the IDPs. From Kefi, Suleiman Musa, NTA.
Nigerians have been told to remain supportive of the federal government's policies and programs to enable it to provide more dividends of democracy to them. Minister of Women Affairs Dame Pauline Ntalive was speaking while inaugurating the flooding and erosion control project in Dengi, Plateau State. Felicia Dalop Samaila reports.
The inauguration of the project is a dream come true for the people of Kanam. The project is expected to address the devastating effects of erosion and flood, as well as restore vehicular and pedestrian movement, thereby boosting socio-economic activities of the people.
Using it to connect other communities were indeed overwhelmed.
We are very appreciate this government to recognize us.
The Gisharet Albushi Flood and Erosion Control Intervention executed by the Ecological Project Office has no doubt underscored federal government's concerted efforts in tackling environmental challenges in the country.
Let me also reiterate the present administration's commitment to continue with the implementation of all genuine government policies, agreements, and contracts. I therefore call on you all, as the benefiting community, to see the project as yours. The project was initiated through a request for an urgent intervention forwarded to the Ecological Project Office.
The 75-meter span bridge is one of the 18 ecological intervention projects approved by President Muhammadu Buhari in 2018. From Dengi Kanam local government area, Felicia Daliop Samaila, NTA News.
Cross River State Governor Professor Ben Ayade is advising politicians to keep to the rules of the game, follow agreements reached and ensure fairness as the nation moves towards another political era ahead of the 2023 general elections. The governor stated this during the defection ceremony of 3 political bigwigs from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress in Calabar. Paul Abel will tell us more.
Since the return of power from military rule to democratic dispensation in 1999, the PDP has been the governing party in Cross River State, and there has been this rotational agreement of the governorship seat moving from south to central and northern senatorial zones for equity and justice. It is on this premise the state governor advises politicians to keep to agreement for peace to reign rather than pursuing selfish interests at the detriment of the people's unity.
It is against the law I have for every one of you that I'm going to give my right eye and take the oath, and of course, take the decision I've taken. And I'm happy to become a customer. Have all joined me in unison and in very clear understanding that indeed 2023 is the avenue of peace. The avenue of opportunity for every one of us to have the sense of equity and the sense of balance to maintain and sustain our politics so that at every time everybody knows his turn. What is however is fair.
The 3 defectors who gave their reasons, including integrity and continuity for defecting to the governing APC, called on all their followers to give the required support to the governor for him to finish strong. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
The Nigerian Air Force has added to its force 648 regiment personnel towards reinvigorating its capabilities. In a statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Edward Gapworth, the personnel are products of the service committed to pursuing purposeful training and human capacity development for enhanced force protection, competence to secure and protect the citizenry. The quality of training received by the regiment personnel is evident in their deployment in several operational theaters across the country, where they perform creditably in counterinsurgency and counter-terrorism operations, the statement added. The trainees, according to the NAF, were tutored towards developing their staff duty capabilities, analytical and communication skills, and also exposed to weapon handling. All right. All right, to apologize, that's the much we can take on Panorama. We have another live telecast coming from Port Harcourt, so enjoy.
As we remain standing, may I invite the Bishop Anglican Diocese of Eche, Right Reverend Okechukwu Precious Wala, to take the opening prayer.
We pray in the name of Jesus. Loving Father, we thank you for this beautiful day you have given to us. We thank you in particular for the safe arrival of your servant, our governor, and all guests to this occasion. We recognize, Lord, that this occasion is taking place at a season when we commemorate the birth of your Son, our Savior, Jesus Christ, who is the Prince of Peace, who came to set at liberty those who are bound and to declare the acceptable year of God's favor. We have no doubt, O God Almighty, that this is a divine visitation that will usher in greater development for our people. And so because we cannot do anything on our own accord, we ask for the power of your Spirit to direct each of the activities in this occasion, that in everything, O God Almighty, your Spirit will order us. Grant safety, O God, to those who work. Let there be a good working relationship between the communities and the engineers who are working. That this project will not lack funds, there will be no paucity of funds. It will be completed at record time. You will gain glory for yourself. Have your way in this meeting. In Jesus Christ's name we pray.
Please be seated. Your Excellency, Yesum Ezewawike, CON, GSSRS, Power of Sports Africa, Governor of Rivers State. Your Excellency, Engineer Sheyi Makinde, Governor of Oyo State, and our special guest of honor. Your Excellency, Dr. Mrs. Ipalibohari Banigo, DSSRS, Deputy Governor of Rivers State. The Right Honorable Queen Owaji Bani, DSSRS, Speaker, Rivers State House of Assembly. Ambassador Desmond Akawo, Chairman, People's Democratic Party, Rivers State. Honorable Hosea Agbola, Chairman, Governor's Advisory Council, Oyo State. Your Majesty, King Dr. Danderson Douglas Jaja JP, JK V, Treaty King, and Amainabo of Opobo, Chairman, River State Council of Traditional Rulers. Your Majesties and Royal Highnesses here present, distinguished senators, members of the National Assembly here present, the principal officers and members of the River State House of Assembly, secretary to the state government and members of the State Executive Council, elder statesmen, special advisors, chairmen of local government areas here present, permanent secretaries, captains of industry, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the flag off of Chokocho Ibodo Road in Eche local government area to be constructed by the government of Rivers State. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I at this point invite for the presentation of Kola, His Eminence, Eze ENB Oporum, MFR, GSSRS, JP, Onyishi Eche, Ochie of Eche Land, and His Royal Majesty, King Dr. Samuel Amechi, Onyishi Iboagoro, Asa.
Excellency,
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to give the welcome remarks.
Good afternoon and welcome to State School Okomoko Eche, venue of the flag off of Chokocho Ibodo Road. As an agrarian community, the 12.1 kilometer road in Eche will enhance development of the area and adjoining states. On behalf of the outside broadcast crew, I welcome you to the event. I am Jenny Bassi.
Deputy Governor of Rivers State, the Speaker, Rivers State House of Assembly, all other protocols duly observed. Your Excellency, today is another great day of joy. We don't know how to share this joy with you, but we must say thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, you have shown so much love to the good people of Eche, and it's only God in heaven that will pay you. This road, Your Excellency, you are coming to flag off today is a major link road to the 19 wards of Eche local government, and we are all predominantly farmers. This road will ease us in transporting our goods to town and making business easy for our people. Your Excellency, you have done more than enough for Eche, and you are continuing to do more. We say thank you. The good people of Eche local government are here today to witness what you're about to do. May the good Lord that have brought you here to flag this road take you from glory to glory, lead you to glory heights. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Thank you and God bless you.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to three lots with some traditional dance steps. May I invite the golden ladies of Akpoku, Eche. Ladies and gentlemen, please can we put our hands together for the golden ladies of Akpoku, Eche.
Well, the golden women of Eche there appreciating Governor Wike in a beautiful dance step. Earlier, the chairman of Eche local government area had thanked the governor for the project, noting that the road project will ease transportation of farmers as they will now have access to take their farm produce to the urban center.
Thank you. May I now invite the Umokwa Married Women Organization. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please can we put our hands together for Umokwa Married Women Organization. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I invite the Che Wrestling Group.
The Truck Air Chokocho Igbodo Road is more like Governor Wike's signature because the Chokocho Igbodo Road links Imo State as well as Abia State.
Please leave the front of the speakers, please.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please can we put our hands together for the Eche Wrestling Group. Thank you very much. Eche Wrestling Group, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, Eche Wrestling Group. Thank you. Please, I'd like to crave the indulgence of those standing before the screen to please move. Please change your positions. Thank you, Eche Wrestling Group. Thank you so much. Thank you. The ladies on red hat, please move from the screen. Thank you.
Rivers State has unique cultural heritage, one of which is the traditional wrestling. Wrestling is one major tradition in Rivers State, and as a matter of fact, to be accepted into a peer group, one must be a warrior or a wrestler. And with that beautiful display, it shows the appreciation of the people to Governor Nyesom Wike for the flag of Chokocho Road.
Special guest of honor, His Excellency Engineer Oluseyi Makinde, Governor of Oyo State, Your Excellency the Deputy Governor, the Right Honorable Speaker, Your Excellencies, please permit me to adopt protocols already established. Let me start by welcoming you to Eche local government area, one of the boundary communities in our state. The road you're about to flag off, its reconstruction serves Rivers and some neighboring states in the southeast. As many of us are aware, our recently commissioned 21-kilometer Odufo Umoye Road here in Eche local government has since its construction become the route of choice for people going to Abia, Enugu, Ebonyi, and parts of Imo State and beyond. Following the deterioration of the Aba-Enugu Highway, this road, Chokocho-Ibodo Road, is similar in that regard, serving these Southeast destinations and beyond. This is why some of us refer to these projects as contributions of His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, to the National Road Network. On the 21st of October 2021, the State Executive Council approved the project for the total reconstruction of 27.12 kilometers of road from Chokocho to Ibodo. Currently, the road is only 7.3 meters wide, fraught with problems relating to levels and ponding. If you look at pages 10 to 12 of your program and the video on the LED screen, you might have a better idea of what goes on down the road. We will be expanding the road to a total width of 11.3 meters, 4 meters wider than it is now, made up of 8.3 meters of carriageway and 3 meters of shoulders, 1.5 meters on either side. We will introduce a drainage network of 22 kilometers with 36 culverts to ensure that the ponding and water discharge problems of the past remain in the past to guarantee the desired lifespan of the road. As is our minimum standard, we would have sharp sand filling to level, a 5% sand cement mix, stone-based filling, 2 layers of asphalt, road marking, etc. In the next 12 months, the road will be completed, and from thence onward, we would all enjoy as nice a driving experience as we do on the 21-kilometer-long Odufomwe Road, also here in Eche local government. Thank you, and God bless you. Merry Christmas.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to make a remark on behalf of the contractor, Cetraco Nigeria Limited, may I invite the area manager, engineer Michel Isi.
Your Excellency, Mr. Quality Projects, Nyisom Ezenwo Wike, the Executive Governor of River State. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Oyo State, Engineer Seye Makinde, distinguished guests, good afternoon. First of all, I would like to sincerely thank His Excellency Barrister Nyisom Ezenwo Wike, who attaches great importance to the project, so much so he is here today to announce the flagging of the project himself, which he is doing all the necessary to make sure that it will be completed under his administration. The project spans across 7 major communities in Eche local government, connecting River State with Imo State for a total length of over 27 kilometers of road network and more than 22 kilometers of side drains in built-up areas. The road will be constructed to an 11.3 meter width, 8.3 meter main carriageway, and 3 meter shoulders, which will also be asphalted. We promise that we will endeavor to deliver the project on time and according to the standards and specifications required. And this cannot happen without the cordial support of all the traditional rulers, kings, community leaders, and members who have always showed us continuous support during the execution of our previous 3 commissioned roads in Eche under Mr. Project's administration. Finally, I once again would like to thank His Excellency for the great opportunity given to us to be partners in the infrastructural development works his administration is carrying out in River State. We promise to always discharge our professional duties promptly. Thank you and Merry Christmas.
Give me time.
Okay. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to give his speech, may I respectfully invite the Governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Yesum Ezewawike, Commander of the Order of the Niger, GSSRS, Power Sports Africa.
Your Excellency, our special guest of honor, our in-law, the governor of Oyo State, Engineer Sheyi Makinde, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of the state, the Honorable Speaker of our State House of Assembly, the Chairman of our party, distinguished senators, and members of the National Assembly that are here, the Special Advisor to the Governor of Oyo State on political matters, my brother, hallelujah. Chairman of Council, Eche Local Government, and other chairmen that are here, Chairman of River State Traditional Rulers Council, and members of the council, particularly the Oishe Eche of Eche land, and your council of chiefs that are here, leaders of Eche ethnic nationality and our party that are here, the Bishop of Eche Diocese, our leaders in the states that are here, our dear beautiful women and our youths that have come today to give us support, the management of Satraco, Nigerian Limited, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Ndeche Chikao! Ndeche Chikao! Chikao! First of all, on behalf of the government and people of the state, let me sincerely appreciate and thank our brother, our son-in-law, who has agreed today to come in spite of the tight schedule, knowing fully well this is the yielded period. Activities are going on virtually in all the PDP states. But he has decided to come identify with us today to flag off this 27.1 kilometer federal road from Chokocho to Ibodo, federal road. Your Excellency, Eche local government is the food basket of the state. Your Excellency, I'm sure you have stayed in River State. You have both part of your life in River State. You know this local government. This is one of the boundary local governments, just like the Commissioner of Works has said before. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. When I came here last time, I did say to the people of Eche that before my administration would end, one of the roads that I must start and complete is Chokocho Ibodo Road. So many people have thought it's one of those political statements. I have told my people, I have told anybody who cares that whatever promise we make, God is infinite mercy, will give us the strength, will give us the wherewithal to start and finish
and complete the promise and fulfill the promise we have made to the people. Today is 20th of December 2021. The contract was signed with Central Coal Nigeria Limited is for the projects to be completed in 12 months' time. And therefore, I have paid the contractor 40% of the money. And so I believe with the dry season, the contractor should do all he can within the next 3 months at least to see that tangible work has been done before the rains will set in. Because in River State, you never can know when the rainy season will start. So use this opportunity you have to make sure the people benefit from it. And let me also say that I plead with the people of Eche to please give support to the company. Let there not be any problem where the company will say, well, because of the crisis, I have pulled out. Don't allow it to happen. When it happens, who will suffer? The people of Eche will suffer. So this is the opportunity to rally around and take this project as your project. Because you have suffered for quite a long time. Look at how bad the road has been. This is federal government road. It is not state government road. But we said our people cannot continue to suffer. The mere fact that the federal government does not want to help us does not mean that we will not help ourselves. Eche is one of the oil producing communities, one of the oil producing local government. And therefore, there's no way the federal government can forget a local government like this. What is their benefit from the federal government? What is their benefit from the oil? Nothing. Just one federal road they have. Nothing can be done to it. I'm here, and I've come here to solve the problem.
Take your project to weekend and leave it there. Project, he will surely deliver you. When you put your trust in me, take your project to weekend and leave it there.
I hear one of your boys, one of your sons, they say he's based in Abuja. He came with FEMA. To come and pour sand. To say that, look, FEMA wants to do maintenance. We are talking about a job of 14 billion naira. We are talking about giving you a corner of 600 million naira for maintenance. To deny your people a good road. May God forgive that boy. May God forgive that boy. May God forgive the enemies of the church. For they don't know what they are doing. You want to play politics with the future of your local government. You want to play politics with the future of your community, with your people. It's unfortunate. Wherever you go, remember, home, now home. Wherever you are, remember, home now. Whatever you are doing, remember, home now. So, well, you see, people don't understand. You may enjoy temporarily in Abuja. You may enjoy temporarily in Lagos. But one day, you will come back home. And your people will ask you, how far? How far? In Ntalive. Not so. You will ask him, are you back? How far? So, HA people, what will this party, APC, tell you again? Do they have any story to tell you again? Do they have any story to tell you again? Let them go on radio. Let them go on reading. Let them go on all those their private radio houses and pay money and to say PDP administration promised HA people this, and then they refuse to fulfill it. Let them go again. What have you not done for the people of HA? Tell me, what have I promised and I have not done it? Is there anything I promised I have not done it? And that is what governance is supposed to be. Governance is all about your people, about the interests of your people, about telling them something and you fulfill it. We are not here for promises. We are not here for giving promises and making excuses. And that is why I have told all of you, APC, it has never been a political party. APC is an SPV. SPV is a special purpose vehicle.
And no more APC. No more, no more, no more, no more APC. No more APC. No more, no more, no more, no more. No more APC. No more, no more, no more, no more APC. And we go.
A special purpose vehicle is where some businessmen come together for a purpose of achieving something. And when they have achieved that, it collapses. So APC has never been a political party. It is a special purpose vehicle where few of some Nigerian businessmen and the guys of association and the guys of political party came together to see how they can defraud Nigeria. Having defrauded Nigeria, they are not satisfied and they have not dissolved. And that is why you see the crisis today in APC. Well, if it was a political party, you would have known. But because they form a special purpose, now they have finished. The agenda is over. Now they're all falling aside. But as a political party, PDP was founded since 1998-99 up till now. Have you not seen how stronger PDP becomes every day? Even though we are not the ruling party today. But you can see it is the only party, where their states are working every day, every month, every year. What you are seeing in the other party is business concern. You take this one, I take this one. Do you understand?
Your name is Yahweh. Your name is Yahweh. You are a miracle working God. Your name is Yahweh.
So they're all struggling. Who becomes this? Who does not become this? We are not talking about the interests of Nigerians. 3 weeks ago, I told Nigerians that there is a conspiracy not to have a free, fair, transparent election in 2023. And that conspiracy the president will not sign the Electoral Act. Transparent election. And therefore, he was going to sign. I said, Mr. President, I know. This government, I know. This SPV, Special Purpose Vehicle, I know. Will not allow Mr. President to sign it. Has it? And of course, I'm not disappointed because I know their modus operandi. I know their style. I know their strategy. They are saying because the National Assembly in the amendment had recommended direct primaries. And I said, look, that cannot be the problem. What the APC did, in 2023. And that if they allow that obviously APC will lose the election in 2023.
The people of Eche, as it will, among other things, alleviate the sufferings of the people. Eche, as the food basket of the state, now can heave a sigh of relief as farmers especially will have access to their farmland as well as take their farm produce to urban center. Though this is not the only project embarked upon in Eche, but the Chokocho-Igbodo Road is significant because it links other states like Imo and Abia states to the state.
Nigerians who are you deceiving Nigerians. Now,
to Rivers people when he assumed office in 2015 was to embark on comprehensive rural and urban renewal, as well as actualize the age-long yearnings of the indigents and residents of the local government areas to connect the rest of the state by tarred roads and durable bridges. And Chokocho
2019,
Ogbodo Road is
sent to Mr. President to assent where they have introduced the card reader. Mr. President was told by his party, if you assent to this, you will lose the election of 2019. Mr. President declined his assent.
Igbodo Road is a 27.1 kilometer road construction. The contract was awarded to alleviate the sufferings of the people.
Tell me, is it the issue of security? Is it the issue of the economy? Which one have they promised that you can go home today to say? Who will say, look, we're elected by the people, and we want to give the people the best. You don't have it, nobody in the National Assembly, not even the leadership, can have what it takes.
The people of Eche are full of excitement because the Chokocho-Igbodo Road will, among other things, boost economic development of the local government area. The truck air road is more like Governor Nyesom Wike's signature because the road links 19 wards in Eche, as well as connects other adjoining states to River State.
And so, we must be able to tell Nigerians who do not know what is happening that you have been deceived enough. And therefore, the only weapon you have, the only gun you have, is to make sure the mistake you made in 2015 and 2019, do not repeat that mistake again. It's not by talking. I have told Nigerians, it's not by social media talk. It's not by appearing on Sunrise early morning. It's not by appearing in politics today. But what is important, that 2023, every Nigerian will say, we have had enough, and we must punish you back for what you've done to us. And punishing them back is to say, APC, pack your load and do what? Go.
Nigerian community, the Chokocho Igbodo Road is significant because farmers will now have access to their farmlands as well as take their produce to the urban center. Governor Wike, one of the key pledges he made was to make the state a destination of choice. And 6 years into his tenure, the rural-urban program in the state and the interconnectivity across the length and breadth of the state is progressing amazingly. The construction of Chokocho Igbodo Road is definitely
So we should know people who are serious. We should know people who are committed. This country has been set back 30 years. If you don't know what is happening, it's not a matter of joke. We have come here, we have said, who is the contractor? We say Setraco. Not so. They should name their own contractor. They should name their own what? Contractor. Setraco did Igrita to Chokocho. Not so. Setraco did Odufo. Not so. Setraco is doing Chokocho to Igbodo. Setraco did Chokocho to Osusu. Not so. Afra Nihi. Lubrix did it. Not so. Come, who are these people to rival of? What is their mother's name? What is their father's name? If you didn't dare,
the Chokocho Igbodo Road is indeed unprecedented because the project, among other things, as well as boost economic activity in the area.
The Eche ethnic nationality. I know that this road, Imo State people will not allow us to enjoy. They will be passing here now. I would have told the governor there to bring part of the money since he belongs to the ruling party. But he won't bring. So let me solve the problem for them. Did you understand me? But we must also check criminals that were coming from that area. Do you understand me? Because I hear that place is not the way anybody can stay. So people are moving in to the state now, to our river state, where there is peace. They don't be so. You know, I used to tell them, when they were trying to declare a state of emergency in River State, when some governors of APC in the north, Mr. President, River State is
The Chokocho Road is key to the people of Eche local government area. This, of course, is not the only project embarked upon in the local government area, but this particular project is impactful on the lives of the people of Eche.
If it is not the living God we serve, if this state has not been handed over to God, let your prayers come true. Today, what is happening? Every day in Kaduna, 40-something dead. Every other day, 30-something died. In the other day, 50 died. Is that the situation here? Is that the situation here? Are you not seeing that God is in charge? Are you not seeing that God has taken over this state? When you touch God's anointed, you suffer for it.
We can see everything turning around, everything turning around, everything turning around. Why yeah, we can see everything turning around, everything turning around, everything turning around for our good.
All the conspiracy against River State has all fell back to them. It's a boomerang on them.
The durable adjoining roads define Governor Nyesom Wike's impressive leadership style and brilliance of his strategic administrative acumen on the home front.
As he depend them, he go the sweet us. As he the sweet us, he go depend. I say as he depend them, he go the sweet us. As he the sweet us, he go the. As he depend them, he go the sweet us. As he the sweet us, he go the. As he depend them, he go the sweet us. As he the sweet us, he go depend them.
So that is the way it's supposed to be. When there's a problem in one state, that state is part of this country. You must also show commitment and responsibility. Don't say because that state belongs to the other party. Don't say because the man in charge state, you don't like his face. Even if you don't like his face, but for the interest of the people, but for the economic interest that it gives to the entire nation, you must show commitment to them. You cannot say, forget the River State, let them suffer it. And they were trying to declare state of emergency. Now, the period has come when they should declare state of emergency. Mr. Governor, come and talk to us, and God bless you.
You are the Lord, that is your name. You will never share your glory with any man. You will never share your glory with anybody. Almighty God, that is your name, O Lord. You are the Lord, that is your name. You will never share your glory with any man. You will never share your glory with anybody. Almighty God, that is your name.
Thank you. Your Excellency, Nyesom Wike, the Executive Governor of River State, the Deputy Governor, the Speaker, River State House of Assembly. Let me also recognize the chairman of PDP in River State, because there's a long list of protocol. Let me stand on the protocol as established by my brother, the governor of River State. Well, we're in Eche, and I was asking, so how do I greet my people? And now I can learn from him. Nde Eche, Chikao. Nde Eche, Chikao. Well, let me start by appreciating my brother, Governor Nyesom Wike, for the honor of having me here again for this flag-off of Chokocho to Igbodo, 27.1 kilometer road. Well, let me use this opportunity to greet you, to offer you greetings from the good people of Oyo State. Just yesterday, we had our own Christmas carol before I came. So I'll use the opportunity to wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a happy and rewarding year 2022. Well, my brother said, this is a federal road, but the people plying this road, are they federal people? They are our local people. And he is doing the road. I'm sure one thing he didn't tell you is that the federal road is supposed to be paid for by the federal government. We have the same experience in Oyo State. We went to them. I flagged the road off about 3 or 4 days ago, a federal road. We went to them, and they said to us that, well, you can fix the road, but we will not refund you the money. I'm sure they must have said the same thing to him. But we said, okay, it's our people that will ply this road. Also, it is a known fact that if the records are kept, and I'm sure they are keeping the records for this road, who knows, by 2023, we may be paying the money back by ourselves. Because my brother already said it. In summary, if he didn't do it, so let it be on record that today, and you know 2022 is the year before 2023, but certain things will happen in 2022. 2022 is the year that all political parties will choose their candidates. They will choose the candidate that will fly the flag of the party. So 2022 is very significant. And this is almost about 2 weeks to end 2021. So let it be on record that here today in Eche local government of Rivers State is where we are starting the push to rescue Nigeria. And I listened to the Honorable Commissioner for Works. He said this road is linking Rivers State to Imo State and beyond. And I, as an engineer, had worked at Otamirin Flow Station before. So I know this area. Development is not being concentrated in Port Harcourt alone. Rivers State is being linked together, and you're creating an economic corridor for the entire state. So I will say thank you, Mr. Project. It's not for fun that they call you Mr. Project. It is because you are a visionary leader. I said to people, because we are learning with what we're seeing in Rivers State, I said to them that even if you go to a place like Washington, D.C. in America, from Washington, about 3 states is being lumped together as an economic corridor. From Washington, you can go to Baltimore, which is another state of Maryland. You can go to Delaware. You can also go to Virginia. All of those states are linked together as economic corridor. This is the vision for Nigeria. All our economies should be integrated, and there's no better way to show it by even development throughout a state. And this is the example we're seeing from Rivers State. So on this note, I want to, well, we're jealous a little bit with Rivers State, but of course, a part of me is also from here. So I'm also from here. So the jealousy is not skin deep, it's just on the surface, because I'm also part of the enjoyment of the good things happening in Rivers State. So to the glory of God, and for the benefit of the people of Rivers State, the people of Imo State, and indeed to Nigeria, I will move to go flag off this 27.1 kilometer Chokocho to Igbodo road project. Thank you, and God bless you all.
No, Sheyi Makinde of Oyo State commending Governor Wike for the project. He said though the road is a federal government road, the local people will benefit maximally. He also noted that the road links Rivers, Imo State, and of course development will spread beyond the state. It is now time for the flag off of the project, and Governor Sheyi Makinde of Oyo State will perform the ceremony.
God, they use wicked. They bless so many people. Here we can bless you. We can bless you. We can bless you. Mr. Brother bless you. God, they use wicked. They bless so many people. Here we can bless you. Hunger go go. We can bless you. We can bless you. Mr. Brother bless you. Hunger go go. God, they use wicked. They bless so many people.
27.1 kilometer Chokocho-Igbodo Road has 7.6 meter wide. It has 32 culverts and drains to prevent flooding. Have come to the end of the ceremony. We thank you for watching. I now hand you over to the studio for the continuation of other programs. I am Jenny Bassi.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Negative impact of fake news to Nigeria's unity and progress. Jigawa residents express concern. Nigeria attracts over $2 billion foreign investment in International Trade Summit. And experts harp on financial autonomy for local governments as solution for grassroots development. Good to have you join us on this week's edition of The Correspondents. We have interesting stories that will worth your while. I am Tessie Umeri. Many thanks for joining us. Let's begin with the issue of fake news and its negative effect on the society. Despite its negative consequences on societal development, fake news continue to defy solutions despite efforts to stem the tide on the society. NTA Duse correspondent Ibrahim Bello-Gunda in this report examines how Nigerians live an era when the spread of fake news has become the norm and its negative impact on peaceful coexistence. The report.
Fake news, as the name implies, are news manufactured deliberately to mislead the public with the intention to misrepresent or damage the reputation of Nigerian government and other professional bodies have been preaching against it, but to no avail. A good example of this fake story, whose spread has attributed its source to Federal University Dutse in Jigawa State, the fake story shared on academic mock trial and changed into president of the student union of the institution attending lectures with security details. This prompted the management of the university to issue a statement debunking the information. This negative trend of peddling fake news has been affecting the operation of professional conventional media in Nigeria.
That is fake news, false stories, not news stories, false stories. They fly. And it's a serious challenge to the media industry and to journalists and journalism practice as a whole. that this social media, unlike what other people want to believe, that is social media is just like conventional media. No, they are entirely separate. Social media, the name indicates, is not meant to actually spread news stories, but it's just meant for building relationship in the society, all right? Relating, exchanging pleasantries, messages, personal messages, and things like that, but not official, not formal news stories. In the conventional media, like yours, the NTA and other, even though most of you are now online, but you are different from social media. The NTA online is different from social media handle, actually, because you are professionals.
The questions on the lips of many remain: what are the reasons behind the spread of fake news, and which benefit does its peddlers drive in misinforming the public?
So I think it's a very high time for us to look inward and start sensitizing and mobilizing people to understand what is the right of expression of opinion and what is the gravity or the consequences of dishing out information which are not true, which are fake in nature.
Majority of the news, they are not authentic. They are not from a reliable source. So if youth can concentrate and know the difference between platforms that are legit and the ones that are not legit. For instance, legitimate platforms are like all these Daily Trust, NTA channels, they will never post something that is bad. To say, I know there will be a penalty charges, that if I share a news that is not legit, there are some like penalty charges that I'm going to be charged. I will be very careful in the process of sharing that news.
What are the viewpoints of the two major religions in Nigeria on fake news and its peddlers, considering the ills their action create in the society?
Islam condemns in totality anything to do with fake news.
Christianity does not support fake news.
Although there are attempts by legislators and the government to set severe punishment for peddlers of fake news, there is still the need for stringent measures that will check their activities for a better society to thrive.
I quite agree with you, Ibrahim. There should be strict measures to deal with peddlers of fake news in order to build a more viral society. Many thanks. And to foreign investment, Nigeria's search for investment that will aid the quick recovery of the economy from effects of COVID-19 is beginning to yield positive results, with different platforms being explored to attract investment into the country. The latest is the Foreign Investment Network Forum in Dubai, which has attracted more than $2 billion. Correspondent Benny Adams has details of other engagements aimed at attracting foreign direct investment into the country.
Having agreed that Africa does not need charity, but partnerships that will promote the adequate investments, talking about the real investments that will turn the tides and the fortunes of the continent. Conversations here have continued on the need for these right partners to come on board. And we have Governor El-Rufai of Kaduna State wooing investors from all over the globe to come to Kaduna and invest, just as the Minister of State for Mines and Steel, Chukwu Oga, is also giving investors more reasons why they should invest in Nigeria.
We're the second largest producer of virtually all other agricultural products. I would like to invite our Middle Eastern businessmen to please come to Kaduna State and invest in agriculture.
From that office, they have invited us with the office of the Sheikh to host an event for the three regions: India, Africa, and the UAE. Because Africa has become very important to UAE.
For Leila Rahal El Atfani, founder of Business Gate and president of I Am Africa platform, the United Arab Emirates is ready for Africa.
Now we are talking with Abuja to build up a similar project of the BRT over there.
And I am planning to go and start something that we can explore in Nigeria. This is the next project that I have, and with the partnership with Finn.
I'll be happy to meet His Excellency Mohammad Al-Buharji, and we'll be happy to explore avenues of collaboration. We'll be happy to show our serious concern towards sustainable development in Nigeria. And if there is possible synergies, we will definitely be very happy to look at opportunities to invest in Nigeria. But we are here for good. We are here to support for long-term projects where the mission is not just making returns on investment, but creating better economy and better future.
For the current quarter of 2021, we are witnessing a great demand in the tourism and event sector, where Africa is a key market for us.
They are also concerned about building greater capacity to not only survive the effects of the pandemic, but prosper in and after the pandemic.
That offer pitching for investment, that offer training for developing your business, that offer support into developing your skill set, and offer you free advice, support, and logistics assistance for trade into and outside of the UAE into the region.
Should we focus on different sectors, for example, startups, for example, creating more entrepreneurs to solve a lot of challenges that we have? This can be one of the sectors. To think about the new sector that is appearing, ICTs, renewable energy, agriculture, how to create the policies that are very, very focused on this sector.
We have carved out our company into the hearts of investors because of our strategy of trying projects to time and finance.
At the end, their goal is to achieve economic prosperity through global advocacy.
And Benny Adams joins us to speak further on the just concluded investment summit in Dubai. Hello, Benny. Welcome to the correspondence.
Thank you so very much.
And glad to have you back from Dubai.
Good to be here too.
You covered the Foreign Investment Network FIN, that is the International Trade and Investment Summit in Dubai. Can you please share with us your experience?
Well, it's quite an experience that is very fulfilling in the sense that with the effects of the coronavirus on the economies globally, different countries have evolved different means of trying to recover from the effects of this economy. And you get to understand that the richer countries are getting to recover faster than the African countries. But it's good news for Nigeria because our economy is recovering faster than expected. And these countries that have actually advanced in the progression, that is in their recovery, they are saying, we can't do it all alone, let's think of Africa. We have benefited a lot from Africa. Raw materials, a lot of resources, human and capital, natural resources, all come from Africa to develop these economies. And the United Arab Emirates is saying, no, let's think of Africa. And in thinking of Africa, it shouldn't be about giving Africa aid all the time. Let's look for sustainable development. Let's look for projects that are long-term, that will have long-term benefits to help recover these economies. And also Africa is coming on board to say, yes, it's not all about giving us peanuts all the time, but we also have capacity. But you can actually assist us in building our capacity where our capacity is less, and where we have capacity, let's do partnership so that all economies will grow and recover at the same time.
Okay, you talked about partnership, and from investors made commitments from our findings worth $2 billion.
Yes.
Tell us, in which of the sectors is this investment heading to?
Well, the $2 billion was even a one-off announcement. Others are yet to disclose their investment. Right now, as we're talking about, President Muhammadu Buhari is in Dubai to sign specifically MOUs on these projects. But these investors are actually interested in solid minerals, they're interested in education, they're interested in healthcare, they're interested in clean energy, talking about renewable energy. So they are ready to invest in these areas, particularly solid minerals. I have someone from Singapore. He did not disclose the worth of his investment, but he has been investing in Africa, but hasn't been to Nigeria. And the Minister of State for Solid Minerals, Uchechukwu Oga, revealed that Nigeria has discovered 10 new mineral resources. So this Singaporean was so excited. He can't wait to come to Nigeria. He actually gave a date. He said, first week of January, he'll come to see what Nigeria has to offer. So the 2 billion is going to different sectors, including infrastructure, and more people are getting to join the bandwagon to invest in Nigeria.
Okay, with the Minister of State's announcement of 10 new mineral resources, were there expression of our interests?
Yes, the Singaporean is by name Euro. He's actually planning to invest billions of dollars in just solid minerals.
Okay.
He wants to meet the federal government delegation to fine-tune such. Then there are some other investments in healthcare. They want to do education. They want to do women empowerment, particularly in areas of capacity building for Nigerian women, considering the fact that the coronavirus was, the effect was felt much by households. And when we're talking about households, women and children are involved. So the women are saying, hey, we can't just wait for the men to provide solution to this. We also have capacity. We have something we are bringing to the table. So let's discuss and see how we can get to do this and do this fast.
Okay, you talked about women not left behind. What were their submissions, at the event?
Surprisingly, we had women representatives from about 16 countries in Africa. Then in combination to the women in the UAE and other parts of the world, particularly even from England, Canada, they were all present at that forum. It was an avenue, a platform to share ideas on how to improve investment in Africa, for Africans to take advantage of opportunities that are available in the UAE and other parts of the world. And we had a forum where we had women in the UAE. You know, there is this impression that the UAE is a conservative society, more like. We just got to discover that we have women who are excelling in different disciplines that are very competitive, known to be competitive to just men. And they are saying African women can join the bandwagon to say, okay, since we can do it, you can also do it. And in doing it, we're ready to provide capacity for you as well as resources. It's not about giving you money, but we want to build capacity so that this money will be useful for you to grow your households, economic-wise, your society, and the larger country and the continent at large.
Okay, Benny, would you rate this summit like, let's say, a walk in the talk? Because the common man in Nigeria, we talk about dollars, we talk about investment, he wants to see how it affects him directly. So is it like walking the talk?
It is really walking the talk in the sense that we saw people sign MOUs, and we saw these people who are ready to help, who are ready to partner, saying, we can't wait for your government to come and give us those areas we want to put this money in. We have this money. Here is this money. Just tell us where to invest in. Then we sign agreements and put in this money to where it should work. For them, it's not about the return on investment. It is long-term projects that will have benefits for both people, particularly for Africa. Let Africa benefit. Let Nigeria benefit.
That's really interesting and happy story to hear.
I was actually excited.
At this crucial moment, actually.
Yes.
So will you, like, finally rate the investment summit like a whole? How will you rate it?
Sincerely, I will commend the organizers of the Foreign Investment Summit. It was actually a platform where these investors were brought in to meet would-be beneficiaries. Yes, they are beneficiaries in one hand, they are also partners in one hand. And come to think of it, it's not just about Nigeria. We had Ghana, we had Cape Verde, we had Angola, we had South Africa, we had about 16 African countries benefiting from this gesture. And this is not the beginning. This is an advanced progression which is going to hopefully soonest get results out of it, because these investors are saying we are ready to come into Africa in January. Maybe not for, I don't want to believe that the new variant, the Omicron coronavirus, will deter this, but I think these people are hopeful. And these are societies that have taken drastic measures to ensure that amid the virus threats, they have safety measures put in place, and they are saying the economy should not suffer more than it has suffered again.
We appreciate your time with us on the program, and we are hearing from what you have said, it's going to be good news and better days ahead for Nigeria and of course the rest of the African countries.
Most definitely.
And I can see you're already reaping from the dividends of the investment.
Wow, if you say so. Thank you.
Once again, thank you for coming on the show. Hope to see you again some other time.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Still to come, focus on an arm of government that appears neglected. Join us again after this break.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria, pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
Welcome back to the correspondence. Let's talk about grassroots development. Stakeholders of local government administration are calling for full implementation of local government financial autonomy by all state governments in order to drive home dividends of democracy at the rural communities, which are often left unattended to. Correspondent Calvin Samuel reports that with the local government financial autonomy fully in place, life will be more meaningful to those at the grassroots. The report.
Local governments are created with the ultimate goal of bringing government closer to the people at the grassroots. In Nigeria, the local government reform of 1976 is expected to accelerate development and enable the local population participate and hold those in power accountable in an event of misappropriation of funds. However, all these are impossible in the present situation of local government administration in Nigeria, as most state governors have refused to let go of the local government funds.
There are issues in the local government service, and one of those issues that is ringing bell is the issue of local government autonomy. But yet, even though we are agitating for it, there's a clause in the Constitution that do not permit the autonomy to be exercised the way it should be. So that is one of the issues. Another issue is carrying the local government along in the planning and execution of policies in the states and even at the national level. My appeal to other sectors and stakeholders that are involved in this struggle is that the local governments should be seen as an important arm of the government, because without the grassroots, all of us, we are from the grassroots. So if the grassroots is not well managed, everything will crumble.
If given autonomy, it will be better for all of us in Nigeria.
And being a grassroots government, it is expected that they should have the local government, the financial autonomy to be able to operate fully so that development will reach to the grassroots. And I believe if that is considered, local government and development will cut across the entire country because they are dealing directly with the people.
It is worrisome that despite the quality of men and women elected into various local government councils across the country, state actors still believe they are too inexperienced to handle funds accruing to their councils. A situation the people say has led to deplorable state of council areas and a total lack of government presence in most rural communities.
That we should see the importance, because when you see the importance of anything, you work towards making that thing to be well. So
we can carry out projects, we can look at other little things that we can do directly. We won't be stranded again. That is what I'm saying. So the most important thing is the autonomy of local government system. We have been very submissive. The local government system must be submissive to the state. and the federal government. But we are asking for that financial autonomy to enable us actually exercise the functions of local government system as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
They are dealing directly with the people, and they feel the impact and what is not there for the people. And therefore, I am agitating and pleading that the needful should be done for the local government.
There is no doubt that the financial autonomy, which includes the power to control and manage its finance, allocate resources to strategic places, will enable local councils implement policies and decisions that will promote grassroots development in the country. But the big question remains: who will save the local government system from the hands of those who are determined to cripple it?
That's a big question begging for answer. We're hopeful that the answer will come someday soon. Thanks so much, Kelvin. And that brings us to the end of the correspondence this week. Many thanks for your time. Join us again next week, same time on another edition. A quick reminder that COVID-19 is still around us. Continue to abide by government's regulations and safety protocols, and more importantly, get vaccinated, take responsibility and stay safe. Remember to speak up and take action against rape and rapists. Be a star. Bye for now.
Lives are in your hands while you drive. Protect yourself and others on the road. Road Matters, shown on the network service of the NTA. Join us.
Welcome to the world's first football scouting reality show, Football Dreams. We kicked off an extensive scouting selection for football talents in 2019, and together with our African Football Network, we've evaluated over 3,000 players from 13 countries. They all share the same dream, that one day they will become a professional football player. Only 28 players made it to fight for a contract with a professional European team in the grand finale of Football Dreams 2021 in Benin. Our main host and former professional footballer, England national player, and FA Cup winner John Fashanu will guide us through the show and push the players through extremely hard and challenging tests. Halfway to the final, 14 of the 28 players will be eliminated, but only one player will win the professional contract.
NTA Tuesday Live, analytical, in-depth, educative, and interactive on national issues, accommodating all sides of opinions.
We as a people have understood that we have.
Hello, thanks for joining us. Here's the news update at 2. I'm Ruth Aguale. Let's begin from the global scene. Pro-Beijing candidates have claimed the victory in Hong Kong's Legislative Council election as the city saw its lowest ever voter turnout. It was the first leg-go election since China made sweeping controversial changes to the city's electoral system. Officials argue the changes were needed to ensure stability, but critics say they weakened democracy. On Monday, Beijing also unveiled a statement outlining democracy with Hong Kong characteristics, quote-unquote, in a white paper released hours after election results were announced. China said Hong Kong was now entering a new stage of restored order. As a result of this, Beijing introduced changes. The LegCo, Hong Kong's mini parliament, is a powerful body that makes and amends laws in the city. And from the United States, health officials are warning Americans to take extra precautions while traveling over the Christmas period. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the chief medical advisor to the president, said on Sunday that the Omicron variant was raging around the world and that there was no doubt festive plans will contribute to virus spread. More than 100 million people are expected to travel across the U.S. during the festive period, according to industry projections. President Biden will reportedly address the nation about Omicron in a speech on Tuesday. It comes as 2 U.S. senators and former presidential hopefuls, Elizabeth Warren and Cory Booker, both said on Sunday that they had tested positive for coronavirus. And UK shoppers choose to avoid high streets and city centres on the crucial weekend just before Christmas amid fears over the Omicron COVID-19 variant. The number of people on high streets fell by 5.9% on Sunday, but rose to 4.8% at retail parks week on week, retail analysis firm Springboard said. Springboard's Diane Well said consumers were clearly cautious about venturing out to the shops. Shoppers were also making quick in-and-out visits, another expert added. In another development, 12 people in Britain have died with the Omicron variant of COVID-19, Britain's Deputy Prime Minister Dominic Raab said on Monday. Officials warned last week that hospitalizations could hit new highs as the effects of the latest surge work their way through the population. And back home, Nigeria Center for Disease Control has confirmed 404 new cases of the virus in the country. Oyo has 122, FCT 84, Lagos 52, Kaduna 51, Imo 20, Delta 18, Kano 17, Kwara 16, Rivers 11, Enugu 10, Ogun 2, and Edo 1. Total confirmed cases stands at 223,887, with 211,537 discharged and 2,985 deaths recorded so far. Those are the stories we have at this time. Thanks for your time.
This is the network service of the NTA.
The International Human Rights Day always provides an opportunity for countries across the world to assess the human rights situation in their country and to provide ways of making it better where they fall short of standards or consolidating things that they have done to make the human rights standard in their country good enough. The 2021 Human Rights Day was marked in Nigeria with exceptional activities, a week-long activity which culminated in the visit of the new Governing Council members of the National Human Rights Commission visiting the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And that is what we're going to focus on the first segment of the scale today. Welcome to the program. I am Femi Okeowo. There are a series of activities that would normally come with the International Human Rights Day, but the focus is not necessarily about those activities, at best 1 week like we had in Nigeria, but the standards that is being looked at in each of this country is whether there are human rights abuses and whether there are instruments in place to correct them and address them in case there are violations of human rights. Nigeria is trying to consolidate on its human rights situation, which for now is categorized as one of the best in the world, at least in the category of A, which the UN categorizes. But then we all know that there are challenges, and of course the human rights body, the UN, would also know that there are challenges to be met and challenges to be overcome by each country. And that is what this year's International Human Rights Day in Nigeria looked at. Areas where can be consolidated and the areas that Nigeria needs to develop on to ensure that human rights issues are brought to the fore and respected by particularly state institutions. Of course, it's not just state institutions alone that violate or can help to ensure that human rights activities are respected. Non-state actors too are very important. And so as we go into just a summary of each of the events that we had in Nigeria and particularly in Abuja to mark the International Human Rights Day for 2021, let us look at how Nigeria can take full benefit of the new governing council which has been instituted by the federal government, the first in 4 years after the dissolution of the last one. So let's put together the activities that we had in Abuja for the 2021 International Human Rights Day.
This work is to commemorate this year's International Human Rights Day with the theme Equality, Reducing Inequality, Advancing Human Rights. The day was preceded by 16 days activism on ending violence against women and children. Human rights abuses has been on the increase in recent times. This, the National Human Rights Commission says, must stop.
Anywhere on this planet, we have the same rights to life, health, and education.
With the current rating that Nigeria has, unfortunately, we still have challenges. We are not sure whether it will affect our next round of rating, but we are working very hard to overcome them.
It's also a lot we have done through some public hearings. You remember the case of those motorcycle riders that were killed in Apo, where the Commission gave a recommendation which has been obeyed by the government.
International human rights is celebrated globally on every 10th December to commemorate the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights by the United Nations General Assembly.
The visit by the Governing Council of the National Human Rights Commission is to formally appreciate the President for the trust and confidence reposed in his members, increased budgetary allocation to the Commission for the first time since the return to democracy, and ensuring that its operations and independence are enhanced. Chairperson of the Commission, Dr. Salamatu Suleiman, consequently presented to the Nigerian leader for consideration and approval a draft national action plan for the promotion and protection of human rights in Nigeria. And as host of the Independent Investigative Panel on Human Rights Violation by the defunct SARS, the Commission promised to work with partners within and outside the government to ensure that the reports from all the panels across Nigeria are implemented while addressing bottlenecks impeding access to justice, including police and other institutional reforms.
The management and staff of the National Human Rights Commission, I want to express our gratitude to you for giving us an audience despite your very busy schedule to be able to interact with you and brief you on the activities, challenges, and opportunities of National Human Rights Commission. As you are aware, Mr. President, the National Human Rights Commission was set up in fulfillment of Nigeria's international obligation to the UN General Assembly, Resolution 48-134. This therefore underscores the strategic importance of the Commission to Nigeria at domestic and international levels. Your Excellency, sir, our audience with you today could not have been at a more auspicious time in the history of our nation, with the challenges of insecurity on one hand and the COVID-19 pandemic and other development challenges confronting our dear nation. These challenges impact on the enjoyment of human rights enshrined in the 1999 Constitution as amended, the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, and other national, regional, and global human rights instruments to which Nigeria is a party. Some of the major challenges confronting our nation today that have human rights implications include terrorist insurgency, ethnic agitations, kidnapping, banditry, drug abuse, youth unemployment, and cultism and bullying in schools. Added to this are traditional human rights challenges of poverty, access to education, health care, and other social services, gender and other forms of inequalities, and human rights violations associated with law enforcement and access to justice. Mr. President, sir, these challenges have made the existence and the mandate of the Commission in Nigeria today ever important and strategic. It is with this sense of responsibility that we come before you today, first to appreciate Your Excellency for deeming us fit to direct the affairs of such an important institution and for the support that the Commission has been receiving under your leadership. Within your administration, sir, the Commission's annual allocation has been increased for the first time in our democracy and has been able to extend its operations by the creation of offices in the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. The Commission has also received support to build a permanent office in each of the 6 geopolitical zones, with 6 additional state office complexes at different stages of completion across the country. These structures will enhance the operations and the independence of the Commission to promote and protect the human rights of Nigerians. Your Excellency, the COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted the political, social, and economic foundations of many societies in Nigeria and Africa, upon which enjoyment of human rights as enshrined in our Constitution, the International Bill of Rights, and African Charter on Human Rights are based. The implications of the long months of lockdown, such as loss of livelihood, increase in level of inequalities, school dropouts, upsurge in sexual and gender-based violence, including assault on key populations by state and non-state actors, will need systematic and focused interventions at state and national levels to be addressed. Mr. President, sir, as nations forge partnerships for recovery after the pandemic, Investments in human rights should form the foundations of our efforts. Building national capacities to respond to the next pandemic through human rights-based approaches to both medium and long-term national recovery and development plans will be key to addressing intergenerational poverty and inequalities, which fuel conflicts and deepen vulnerabilities across Nigeria. It is in this sense that the Commission welcomes the recent approval by the Federal Executive Council of the National Development Plan for 2021 to 2025. We look forward to engaging with the government to ensure that the attainment of human rights obligations, especially socio-economic rights, enshrined as fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy, is at the center of the plan's implementation. Your Excellency, sir, in recognition of this connection and strategic importance of human rights to development, the Vienna Declaration and Program of Action, adopted by the World Conference on Human Rights in Austria in 1993, requested each state to consider the desirability of drawing up a national plan of action, identifying steps where the state will improve the protection and promotion of human rights. Towards this end, the Commission, in collaboration with ministries, departments and agencies of government, civil society and development partners, have developed a national action plan for the promotion and protection of human rights in Nigeria for the year 2022 to 2026 to respond to the challenges of human rights at institutional, policy, thematic, and programmatic levels in Nigeria. We have the plan to present to Your Excellency, sir. So we come to you today, Mr. President, with this draft National Action Plan developed through a conscious, participatory, consultative, and collaborative approach, recognizing multi-sectoral and other diverse interests and mandates within and outside government. The draft action plan, with its implementation plan, is a living document which is a major fulfillment of Nigeria's international obligations to promote, protect, and fulfill all human rights. Upon the approval of Mr. President and the Federal Executive Council, this action plan will be implemented by line ministries, departments, and agencies, and other non-state actors, such as civil society and development partners, because human rights are indivisible and interdependent. Your Excellency, addressing human rights issues for a huge country like Nigeria requires adequate funding, as well as operational and institutional capacity. It is in recognition of this that the National Human Rights Commission Amendment Act of 2010 provided for human rights programs, provided for the establishment of a human rights fund to provide financial support for human rights programs and to provide justice and compensation to victims of human rights violations. The Commission is working towards the operationalization of this fund, and we appeal to Your Excellency for your support and traditional commitment to make it a reality. Mr. President, sir, you may recall that the Commission is the host of the Independent Investigative Panel on Human Rights Violations by the defunct SARS and other units of Nigerian police. The staff of the Commission are also members of all the state panels. Your Excellency, the National Human Rights Commission will work with partners within and outside government to ensure that the reports from all the panels are implemented. Promoting accountability for human rights violations will mean addressing all the bottlenecks impeding access to justice, including institutional reforms in law enforcement and far-reaching reforms in our court systems and procedures to address impunity and violations. Addressing illegal arrests and prolonged detention of Nigerians, including young people and other vulnerable groups, will be key to building confidence in law enforcement in our great country. Towards this end, the Commission is leading a multi-stakeholder process for police reforms based on the white paper of the 2018 Presidential Panel on SARS. Your Excellency, sir, since 2018, the National Human Rights Commission has introduced quasi-judicial mechanisms for addressing human rights violations. The Commission appreciates the support of the National Assembly, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, the National Judicial Council, and the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice for their respective roles in these reform processes. Once again, on behalf of the Council members and myself and the Commission, I want to thank you most sincerely, Mr. President, for the support the Commission has received under your leadership. On our part, we pledge our unalloyed commitment to the promotion and protection of human rights under the Nigerian Constitution and other human rights statutes and instruments. Working with government stakeholders, non-state actors, and development partners, the Commission will continue to strive towards the realization of the human rights and rule of law objectives of your administration and in fulfilling Nigeria's international obligations. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for this audience, and may God bless you and bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
President Muhammadu Buhari commended the National Human Rights Commission for being dutifully firm and unwavering in its commitment to the promotion and protection of human rights in the country. He promised government's continued support and assistance to the Commission in the execution of its mandate, which he described as critical to sustainable peace and stability.
It will show how seriously they have taken some of the extra-governmental organizations that help the government to articulate positions on what receive a lot of publicity. The composition of your committee is very interesting. It covers the whole spectrum of governance, and this is very interesting. So how I wish people will understand and appreciate the Commission and pass the representations through you so that I will have less hectic time in government. I'm very pleased that we have the facilities throughout the country. This is very good. I'm very pleased with the way you approach it and the way you make sure that you are on the ground in every state. The composition, as I mentioned, is all right. Human Rights Commission funding. We'll try and see which minister is supposed to be working with you and find out within our limited resources what we can honestly do for you. Thank you very much.
The National Human Rights Commission Amendment Act 2010 has conferred on the Commission, amongst other powers, to deal with all matters relating to the promotion and protection of human rights as guaranteed by, amongst others, the Nigerian Constitution, the United Nations Charter, and the Universal Declaration on Human Rights. Presently, the United Nations Human Rights Body in particular places Nigeria in Category A of world standing in terms of full compliance with human rights standards globally.
That visit to the President of Nigeria by the Governing Council of the National Human Rights Commission gives an opportunity for the Council to settle down into its activities, and with the assurance of the President that funding should not be a problem, I'm sure the areas to be addressed, such as the continued end-SARS agitations, should, and particularly police brutality or indeed individual brutality against other individuals, should be addressed. Of recent, we have seen issues of bullying in schools as a major concern, and courtism as major concerns of human rights violations. And now on the scale today, let's conclude with our regular segment from the courts. Olabode Arewa is our guide.
A federal high court in Abuja has refused to grant an injunctive order against the federal government over the plan to deduct $480 million from the allocations of the 36 state governments to pay for their contractual obligations under the Paris Club refund. Justice Iyan Gekwo declined to grant the injunctive order requested by the 36 state governors. Counsel to the governors, Sunday Ame, had moved a motion on notice, praying the court to grant the order because the governors and the states were not parties to the legal action that resulted in a judgment which ordered the federal government to deduct the $480 million from the state government accounts to settle the debt obligations of various contractors who assisted the states to recover the Paris Club refund money. The defendants in the suit, comprising contractors and banks, however, objected to the request by the state governors that the Federal High Court had 4 years ago issued an order that the federal government should deduct the money and pay it to them, adding that since the earlier judgment was delivered, the governors have not deemed it fit to file an appeal against the judgment. In another development, a federal high court sitting in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, has convicted and sentenced a fake oil magnate, Dr. Vincent Ayigo, to 175 years imprisonment. The court presided over by Justice Abdullahi Mohammed found Ayigo guilty of duping an American citizen, Joseph Cruz, of the sum of $629,000 in a crude oil supply scam. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission arraigned the defendant alongside his company on 25 charges bordering on conspiracy, forgery, and obtaining money by false pretense when he deceptively collected the money as part payment for logistics to supply 6 million barrels of Bonny Light crude oil to the American citizen, which he knew to be false. The court found Ayigo guilty and sentenced him to 7 years imprisonment on each of the counts. The sentences are to run concurrently. Court documents showed that Ayigo is leader of a syndicate scamming foreigners by parading as an international operator in the oil and gas sector, thereby forging documents and transacting businesses bearing the name of the NNPC. A federal high court in Abuja has stalled the planned trial of a former chief of army staff, Lieutenant General Kenneth Minima, over the alleged complicity in the diversion of public funds estimated at 13.8 billion naira. The two other persons are Major General Adebayo and Brigadier General R.I. Odi. They were accused by the EFCC of allegedly misappropriating the said money from funds provided by the federal government for the purchase of military hardware, and that the Committee on the Audit of Defense Equipment Procurement in the Nigerian Armed Forces discovered during its investigations that certain monies were missing. The EFCC thereafter wrote the army authorities requesting their release for prosecution. But on learning about the EFCC's request for their release, Minima, Adebayo, and Odi filed a suit before the Federal High Court to challenge their planned trial before a civil court. Their lawyer, Mahmoud Magaji SAN, argued that under the Armed Forces Act, the EFCC lacked the powers to initiate criminal proceedings against them, saying that the most the EFCC could do under the Act was to report these findings to their commanding officer, who could only charge them before a court-martial and not another court.
So much on the scale today. We shall be examining other emerging issues from across the country that border on our justice system and help us to ensure that the rule of law moves on quick and enhances our polity. Thank you for being part of today's program, and we shall be seeing you again in due course.
They've come from all around Africa and have been fighting hard to make the final cut. And here they are. The coming days are sure to be a tough challenge for some of these young men, but this opportunity can be life-changing.
So every day is a chance for you to prove if you are or not worth it of the opportunity.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Most people in Nigeria today are actually living on medication. You won't know until you come in contact with them. For some people, they live with these persons in the house and they understand what I'm trying to say. For some, it's like, gist. But I want to tell you something. We actually came across a woman, a nurse, who actually has PhD in health education. This woman has lived on drugs. She takes drugs, 21 drugs every day of her life, 3 times a day. Just look at this. She's been able to do away with some, and some are still here. Imagine that every day of your life, 3 times a day, you take this into your system. Have you stopped to think of what it does to your liver, to your lungs? But thank God for agriculture. They say knowledge is wealth. When you discover it, you are alive. Today, she's been able to do away with all this. Yes, she still takes some of this, but like 3. That's because she came in contact with herbs, natural herbs. 80% of these herbs are from her farmland. How has she been able to move from this stage to this stage? How did she discover all this? Today we're in the home of Dr. Stella. She's going to take us through her journey of pain, resilience, and how she's been able to get to where she is right now. The program is Against All Odds on the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. My name is Toshima Pius Ikirafi. Don't go away. We will be back shortly. Don't go away.
This is Against All Odds.
Dr. Stella Iwago is a social entrepreneur and passionate human rights advocate. She is the founder and executive director of Center for the Right to Health, CRH, a non-profit organization founded in 1999 with a mission for research, training, advocacy, and services for the realization of the right to health, especially for vulnerable and marginalized groups in Nigeria.
So if you want to do organic farming,
she earned a Bachelor of Nursing Science degree from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, and a Master's degree in Public Health from the University of Ibadan. Following her outstanding service and leadership in the field of reproductive health and rights in Nigeria, she was granted the Oprah Winfrey-funded African Women Public Service Fellowship for a master's degree in management at the Wagner School of Public Service, New York University. She obtained a PhD in health education from the Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, through the Walker Presidential Fellowship. Stella became paraplegic following a car accident in 1999 while working on her dissertation research in Nigeria.
All of this is food for animals. The rabbits will eat it, the sheep and goats will eat it, and all the banana leaves, the snails will eat it, all the cocoa leaves, the snails will eat it. It was during my final year of the PhD. I came home to collect data for my dissertation on sexual and reproductive health of women living with HIV. So I came briefly and I was interviewing women to get their experiences. I had to go to Kano to see a board member. It was in the course of this travel that I got in an accident in Zaria. And I said, oh no, not now, not again, because I've had a bad accident in 1990. I actually did the 4th year of my nursing degree on crutches because I have big scar here. They were going to amputate this leg. So it's been a journey with accidents. So when this happened, I was like devastated. So I got someone, because they were trying to pull me out, but I knew my back was broken. I didn't even, it was the pain. So I said, no, please, do not pull me out the way you're trying to. Let me teach you how to. I got some, because they were speaking outside, they didn't understand Hausa. I got a youth corps, I saw the youth corps uniform, so I spoke English to him and he understood. And he lifted me. That was where I got the best lift. They were able to do what we call log roll, move you in one piece at the same time. Then we couldn't go to Ahmadu Bello Teaching Hospital, which was about 5 minutes away, because doctors were on strike. So we ended up in a maternity home, and this was in the evening around 6 p.m. So we couldn't do an x-ray or anything. They don't even have a facility there. So all they could do was control the bleeding. Cut a long story short, my family were able to come and get me the next day. There were long delays because they're waiting for police report and all that needs to happen before they can get an ambulance to get me. So I was eventually sent to to National Hospital. At the emergency room, again, they focused on my head and forgot my back. Even though I was telling them my back was broken, they just put a collar on my neck. They did an MRI of my head and neck. They didn't do MRI of my back. And at the ICU, it was another drama. It's like, who sent her here? We don't want her. The nurses were all screaming. And I wanted to tell the nurses, like, you know what? I'm one of you. Take care of me. But at that moment, I couldn't even find my voice. The next morning, the consultant came and asked me to raise my legs. And I was looking at him. Of course, I couldn't raise my legs. And he asked them for MRI. And they gave him MRI of my head. And he asked for the MRI of the back. They didn't have it. Of course, they didn't do it.
This is against all odds.
We have the knowledge, but we don't have the equipment. And all they could do for me was wrap me in POP. And you can imagine, to wrap a whole back, whole body in POP, turning and tossing. And I was screaming, just let death come and kill me, let me die. The pain was just so bad. But I survived it, and many others. They moved me to Ghana, Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Ghana. That was where my surgery was done. And it was coordinated by a Ghanaian doctor in New York, Dr. Hanebe Buachi. He had founded a non-profit hospital called Focus, Foundation for Orthopedic and Complex Surgeries. They do all kinds of complex surgeries there. So I benefited from that. As a matter of fact, he monitored the surgery online, By the next day, I was lying in my bed, completely paralyzed, can't do anything, and just accepting my fate. Then 14 days later, I was moved to America to continue my therapy. And while in America, I was able to finish my PhD, and I got a job as an assistant professor at Cleveland State University. And by the time I was done, I think I did about 5 years. I was itching to come home because that was not my vision. My vision wasn't a life in America. My vision and mission was here. And I'm missing home so much. I started talking to God. I said, God, is it that you're not the one that sent me on this mission? Because if you are the one, you know I can't do it from a wheelchair because Nigeria is not accessible. You also know I can't do it long distance because I need to be in the trenches. I said, God, please get me back on my feet and I'll be back in the trenches doing what I know best to do. And gradually, healing started coming, sensations started unfolding. So I was able to walk with the rollator, and it means I can come home. I had to learn how to climb stairs with a cane. It means I was eager to come home. But then I was worried about healthcare. I was on so many medications because I have not just a spinal cord injury, I have a traumatic brain injury. I have what we call neurogenic pain on my back. The pain is so bad that it feels like someone is cutting my back with razor blade and dropping lemon juice on it. And I had to be on all kinds of narcotics and very strong painkillers. At a point, they had to do surgery to implant what they call a spinal stimulator before I had a little bit of reprieve. You know, I have what we call neurogenic bladder. I have to use a catheter to pee. And that doesn't even work because I have to pee every hour, which is not realistic. So they have to start injecting Botox into my bladder. It's almost like a minor surgery. I have to do that every 6 months to get some degree of relief. And then the bad part was my legs are so tight, from the spasms. They're so bad that I will fall. I can't even function. I can't work. So they had to make another implant. I have an implant here called baclofen pump. So because if I take it orally, I'm like a zombie. So because I have to take enough dose to help relax the legs. So they have to now put the implant there and direct it with a tube to provide the medicine directly to my spine. So all of this, surgical, I can't poo by myself. At the time, someone had to put their hands in and get the poop out, which I still have to do by myself. So my supplies, I have to get catheter, I have to get diaper, I have to get all kinds of things. And it's like, I was like a baby all over again. And I was still coping with that in America. But how am I going to cope if I'm not in America? So all of that kept me in America, even though I don't want to be in America.
The death of her sister and cousin due to pregnancy-related complications compelled her to return to Nigeria in 2015 with a commitment to contribute towards improved maternal and child health outcomes.
I came home to bury my sister, and my father fell ill too. Just the pain. He couldn't live through the pain. He died too. And then I know that I cannot stay in America. I had to come home. I blamed myself that if I was here, maybe they would still be here. Maybe not. But I'm a strong advocate. I would have fought for them, And I came in and I went into the health system trying to see what can I do to bring accountability. The National Health Act has just been passed. What can we do to call attention to it? I did a documentary that was funded by MacArthur Foundation called Failed by Angels that highlighted how the health system had failed the people that had depended on it, that see them as God, but we have failed them. And they failed my family over and over again. They failed me. And, and I was determined to change that. I'm a change agent. I'm an Ashoka fellow. I was supposed to make a difference, and I did it. So I put my whole heart into that. I did a documentary, did educational series, did TED Talk, nothing. But I just didn't feel I was making any dent. The problem was so overwhelming.
This is Against All Odds.
Whoa, those medications are massive. And you were taking this 21 of them 3 times every day. How were you able to discover that you can actually do away with this and go into the alternative medicine?
I moved from drugs to food as medicine. When I came back, I lived in a farm. Actually built this house, and I started growing things that I'm eating. My lemongrass, my even guavas and papayas, and I was just growing things that I was eating. And I'm in a natural environment. I was eating organic food, free from chemicals. I was taking herbs, bitters, Ntalive. And gradually, I started losing weight. I was a size 18, over 250 pounds when I came back from America. I was losing weight without making effort. And I started dropping the medicines. I found out I could drop one today. I could drop the other one the next week. I was just dropping the medicines. From 21 medicines 3 times a day. Today I'm on 3 medicines a day. And I really discovered this was it. I started researching one herb after the other, one herb after the other. And it was just amazing. That was a discovery. My health was optimum, and I was sharing with other people, and they were also getting the same good result. And that solidified my premise that we cannot get to the right to health without accomplishing the right to food and healthy environment. That became my new mission. That made sense, this whole journey, why I'm where I am today.
Self-care is an important tool to help you live a more positive lifestyle. Stella started SD Farms in her backyard, a compact integrated organic learning farm that includes rabbitry, fishery, poultry, snailry, mushrooms, vegetables, herbs, fruits, trees at a small scale to showcase how families can attain food security by growing their own food and consuming them in a way that nurtures their health and well-being. The realization that you cannot attain the right to health until you attain the right to healthy food and a healthy environment inspired her to initiate the Sustainable Demonstration Farms, SD Farms, in Orozo, Abuja in 2016.
I started this place with 100 chicken. Started just growing things to eat. Today, it's a demonstration farm where we're growing things and showing people what is possible. So what is growing in your backyard? Instead of growing the royal palms, we can grow coconut. This coconut is just 4 years old and is already fruiting. We have avocado, we have shower shop, you name it. If you go inside the farm, you have every fruit you can think of. You have lemon, you have bananas, you have pawpaw, and they're all growing in my backyard. And you know another thing I discovered? Post-harvest loss. When farmers grow things and they can't sell it, they lose it. So farmers are not making money because we're not processing. We don't have a system of preserving what we're taking. Even when we know these people are taking smoothie, right? Mm-hmm. But if you don't have electricity, you can't blend your smoothie. If you don't have electricity, you can't preserve your fruits in the fridge. Mm-hmm. So dehydration became something that I discovered by accident, especially during COVID. We couldn't move, and so people had to come and buy things. They can't move, they can't get to us, we can't get to them. So our fruits and fruits were here rotting. And I said, no, we can dehydrate this. It started with the mushroom. The moment I could dehydrate mushroom, which is 80% water, I knew I could dehydrate everything. I was dehydrating papaya, I was dehydrating pineapple, I was dehydrating every fruit, and of course the vegetables were easy. And another thing about dehydrating, you know the way we eat vegetables? We eat them cooked. When you eat them cooked, you've lost most of the value, isn't it? So I started dehydrating them, using a dehydrator, grinding them, packaging them, and I found that I can wake up in the morning, throw my ugu, throw my green, throw everything together, and I have my smoothie on the run, shake it, and I said, okay, this could be a business. And I started packaging it. So that's really the journey of the discovery. One man's wealth is another man's wealth. One man's weed is another man's medicine. That's what we really are about. In nature, there is no waste.
You know, someone once said something that what you're looking for in Sokoto is actually in your Shokoto. Herbs. She's talked about so many things. She's talked about different types of herbs, and these herbs are available right under our nose. Who says we can't do it? We can definitely do it. Dr. Stella, what you've been able to discover on this wheelchair, maybe if you still had 2 legs, you'd have still been pursuing HIV. And that wasn't your mission. Your mission was alternative medicine to rescue the African man. These plants are things that we have within our reach and accessible. Okay, how have you been able to get this across, especially to the grassroots, to let them know that there's alternative here, that they can live and they might not die?
Well, it's work in progress. We just started this. This is an exercise in discovery. So one of the things that I'm doing, I'm only one person. So I go to workshops where we'll have nurses, workshops where we'll have doctors, women program, and I encourage them to become marketers of the product so that they will be better able to learn about it. You know, the way they raised us in the health profession, we just believed everything is the one the Oyibo have said. Like I tell them, the white man came here, took our herbs, and discovered the chemical component of those herbs. And they went to turn them into capsule. And then we're chasing after the white capsule and the white tablet. We forgot where they got it from in the first place. So I want people, health professionals, to research these things and give their patients alternatives. And then I want us to team up and have clinical trials so that we can study them, find out what the chemical components are, and see how we can regulate it, ensure the dosage, and see what effect we have. A lot of the effects we have so far are anecdotal. It's important to do scientific research to get it to the next level. And I'm hoping institutions like NIPRI, the Pharmaceutical Research Company, institutions, and other regulatory bodies can come on board and let's look at these things in a systematic way. It requires documentation. It requires a standard laboratory, even sometimes to do the lab work to understand the chemical components. That it's herb doesn't mean that it may not be harmful. There are some elements in herbs that can harm us. So we need to study those to ensure that everything is safe. So far, because most of them are food, I am comfortable because I call them food. Carrot can't harm you. Ginger can't harm you. Banana, which is very good with potassium for those with high blood pressure. Beetroot is so effective for high blood pressure patients that it can harm you. We would like physicians to be part of regulating, to see, okay, try them on the Oyibo medicine. Then maybe reduce, see if this one works. Reduce this a little bit until it works. And we can create our own pharmacology based on our own natural herbs and food.
Dr. Stella Iwagu has enumerated the health benefits of mushrooms and other farm products. She laments that Nigerians are overlooking the economic opportunities inherent in mushrooms farming and rabbits rearing, while complaining of unemployment.
Right now, it's culinary medicine, it's functional nutrition, is what are people using, because once you get the food right, you can reverse the system. This has potential to help everybody. Now, can you imagine ugu alone? Just the capacity to produce ugu in powder. Then downhill, how many jobs will create by having people that will produce these things? Yes. When I started the farm, just to get people to buy the ugu at good price was a headache. Right now, I don't sell my ugu. I don't even have enough. I don't sell my bitter leaf. I don't even have enough. So can you imagine if we have more people planting this? This will create job for youths. It will create job for just about anybody. People can aggregate. So I know I'm going all over the places, but the point is, this is work in progress. There's so much that can be done. I need the government to come and help me. I need private institutions to come and help me. You don't have to buy from me. If you don't buy it in the powdered form, you can go home and prepare it yourself. But the important thing is to be consistent, because you are what you eat. If you eat right, you don't even have business with the hospitals and health centers. I would like to get medicinal trees from different parts of Nigeria and have it in one place. Okay. Fruit trees. A lot of our fruit trees and food trees are going extinct. Yes. Oba, ukwa. These are things that...
Due to her resilience, she has trained and is still training over 2,000 youths, women and men. She is hoping to engage more young people and women in direct marketing of the produce, which will create opportunities for wealth creation and personal development.
It's been a wonderful experience since I came, because things I have not known about before, I'm knowing them now. Just like the plants, some of the plants, I've not heard about them before. Now I can virtually tell you some of the problems, leaves we have here and what they do, what they are used for.
In terms of the livestock, I've learned how to produce their feed, how to formulate their feed. Instead of going out and buy feed, everything is done here in the farm. You formulate the feed, the rabbit's feed, the pig feed, the fish feed, the snail feed. Everything here is done here in SD Farm. I didn't even know that you can plant mushroom, to be sincere. So when I came here, I found out that you can produce your own mushroom.
This is against all odds.
Someone seeing you seated here with so much energy, being concerned about people, won't even know the pains you're going through and everything you carry. If you don't say it, people won't even know that you're actually carrying an implant in you, that regulates most of the things about you and all that. So talk to us about that implant. Does it have an expiring date? Is it affordable?
Luckily, I found a doctor in Lut that said that he knows how to do it, that Medtronics had trained him. It's a Medtronics device. So we're trying to get the Medtronics equipment and the software and all the things that they need to be able to do it here for me. So we're trying to raise about 5 million naira to get that done. Cost of medication, cost of the hospital trip and all that. So my friends are all trying to help me, and Nigerians are welcome to help me. It's not a lot of money, but right now it could save my life and enable me to focus on what I'm doing. Because apart from the cost of having to go to America 2 times a year, it's very disruptive. Because like right now, we're supposed to be having Mushroom Week. We have so many things that I'm supposed to be involved in. But I had to leave all of that on hold and travel. And that is not really where I want to be. And the good thing is, once we get that here, once we get this equipment here, it will not benefit only me. We have so many people with spinal cord injury. We have people with cerebral palsy and brain injury that suffer spasm. We have people with post-polio syndrome that suffer severe pain, and they will benefit from all of this. But of course, the surgery and implant had to be in place before they can utilize the programmer. So it is my ardent desire that once I'm able to get the programming in, we will have to do a bigger fundraiser and maybe involve the Ministry of Health and other pharmaceutical companies and even Medtronics to get that implant and surgery available so that more Nigerians with disability can utilize this.
This is against all odds.
It's not just for today. So when you have an opportunity to sow wisely. Before we run, I'm sure Dr. Stella has something to say to someone.
Dear Nigerians and people across the world watching, disability is not the end of the road. It can be the beginning of a new opportunity. We'll pray for the resilience and faith and gratitude to be able to deal with it. You know, they say God can give you more than you can carry. There are times when I'm like, God, this is enough. And then I realize, when I look back, I realize that, man, I've overcome so much. Have faith. This too shall pass. It will take you to a new beginning. The other day, you know, I would say I was crying I have no shoes until I saw someone with no legs. You know, I was crying that I'm on a wheelchair. Then I saw some person that had no hands and she was feeding a baby and doing all kinds of odd things. I saw someone with no legs at all. So it's never really complete for everybody. And disability, yes, mine is visible, you can see. There are a lot of people with invisible disability, people dealing with depression, people dealing with suicidal tendencies, dealing with drug abuse and other kinds of challenges. It's important that we be considerate and find out how they are coping. Put in a positive word, a positive prayer, help where you can. We're all doing our best to cope with what we're dealt with. God will see us through. God will see you through. Don't lose hope. Help is on the way.
A word is enough for the wise. It's been against all odds on the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. My name is Toshima Pius Ikirove. We're hoping to have you do this again with us next week, same time, same station. Stay positive, stay alive. Bye-bye.
Did you get to see the way Ntalive about to post this? Don't forget to send in your messages.
There's a difference between picking, child, and issue. The idea that is you can do more with less people.
If we have a better way of addressing these issues, taking care of.
Congratulations, you were able to sign Timo Werner from RB Leipzig.
So you take water before your workout.
People have used their phone, using TikTok to do this.
Should I go for test?
A lot of people don't even have resources.
I'm Cecil, and this is the Medley Show on NTA.
Issues in the sports sector remain one of the most debated among Nigerians due to the passion, followership, government involvement, impact on Nigeria's external image and our national life in the sports parliament. The NTA offers Nigerians deep views on issues with experts in the sports sector, offering in-depth analysis, hindsight, insight and foresight towards elevating Nigerian sports to the zenith on the floor of the sports parliament. Sports Parliament, a unique platform for sports discussions, showing live on the NTA. Keep a date with the parliamentarians.
The eyes have it.
Federal government releases 1 billion naira grant to 4 states for pilot ranching. The United Nations reveals that Africa's current on-tap export potential amounts to $21.9 billion. Plus, oil prices slumped by more than 2% on Monday as surging cases of Omicron variant in Europe and U.S. stock investors' worries. The program is Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Musa Abubakar. Now let's begin with Africa's export potential. The federal government has taken a third trip into the Sukuk bond market to pursue key infrastructure projects in the country, speaking on the 250 billion naira 10-year debt. Director General of the Debt Management Office, Patience Oniha, said the focus is on roads and bridges cut across the Federal Capital Territory, Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, and the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs.
We are using the Sukuk to raise money for the government to finance road projects. So the Sukuk is different from the other securities we issue in the market. You know, we issue Nigerian treasury bills, we issue federal government of Nigeria bonds. With these ones, we are financing specific projects. And under the requirements for issuing non-interest banking products, we need to tell you what it is we are financing. So for these ones, that's why we need to have press sessions and investor meetings such as this. So we tell you these are the projects we are going to finance, and after you have given the money, giving us time to implement, you can come and see the projects that we have financed.
The United Nations Conference on Trade and Development has revealed that Africa's current on-tap export potentials amounting to $21.9 billion, equivalent to 43% of inter-African exports. The organization, in its latest report on economic development in Africa, said an additional $9.2 billion of export potential could be released or realized through partial tariff liberalization under the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, AfCFTA over the next 5 years. The report says to unlock the untapped potential, various inter-African non-tariff barriers, including costly non-tariff measures, infrastructure and market information gaps, need to be addressed. This requires joint efforts under the AfCFTA. It noted that AfCFTA could reduce COVID-19-induced growth contraction, poverty and inequality trends, while spurring sustainable and inclusive growth on the continent if strong support targeting women, young traders and small businesses are implemented. The third Turkey-Africa Partnership Summit has ended in Istanbul with the adoption of a joint declaration of commitment on to further strengthen and deepen the win-win cooperation in the interests of the states and their peoples. Participants also commit themselves to cementing collaboration on current issues in the global arena, including health, peace, security, governance, as well as justice.
Will tolerate any kind of insurgency in their own area. And I think Nigeria has tolerated this thing for quite a long time, almost 10 years. But with all these requirements we are now making efforts to have, I'm sure the end of banditry insurgency will come to an end very soon.
Yeah, for the Ministry of Health was an opportunity to touch bases with the Turks and tell them what our main interests are in developing primary health care, strengthening secondary health care, and improving our super specialty hospitals like ear centers, eye centers, and head and neck centers. And it also opens to the Turks what opportunities there are in Nigeria for investment. They are eager to connect with Africa, and Nigeria, of course, is a very promising destination when it comes to connecting with Africa. And in that respect, investment opportunities exist.
The federal government says the nation's diversification agenda is achieving positive results, with more investment being attracted into the country. As at the first half of this year, investment announcements were at $10.1 billion, an increase of 100% in 2020. And with President Muhammadu Buhari's engagement across the globe, more is expected moving into the new year.
With Expo 2020, we hope to build on existing partnerships between our two countries while also further developing our trade relations, aiming to surpass the $1.3 billion in non-oil bilateral trade achieved in 2020, thereby benefiting both of our nations.
Nigeria's pavilion at Expo 2020 clearly shows why we remain the most viable and attractive investment destination in Africa. Our location, our natural resources, our population, and our regulations are there for all to see. Nigeria on its way to becoming a leading industrial and trading nation in Africa. I look forward to welcoming you all to Nigeria very soon.
Joining me to look at the takeaways from the ongoing Dubai 6 Months Expo is a serial media creative and social entrepreneur, CEO, Dr. Digital, Dr. Group Nigeria. She is Dayo Benjamin's Lani. You're welcome to Business Express.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, well, let's talk about the Dubai Expo. The president has led his, led a delegation to Dubai purposely to seek partnership. How important is this partnership?
Well, I believe that more than anything else, it's pivotal, and it has prioritized not just partnership, but the collaborative, intentional will of both governments in building a bridge and also establishing that critical connect. I think for me the most exciting thing about the Nigeria-UAE posturing or positioning is the posture of Nigeria. which clearly implicated by His Excellency's visit, as well as the various engagements that took place during that visit, positions Nigeria for what the United Arab Emirates will is to bring about a connection. It's no longer about Nigeria and Africa and the Western world. It's not, no. What the United Arab Emirates represents is a convergence of an entire virtual as well as physical intersection of business, enterprise, advocacy, creative energy. It's the power of the very next things. And with the African Free Trade Continental Agreement, this just gives us, as a nation of entrepreneurs, such an amazing destination in terms of the products that we as Nigerian entrepreneurs, Nigerian innovators, Nigerians in corporate governance, Nigerians administrating opportunities through institutional governance are able to deliver. Well, I know there's so much more to say,
Okay,
so I'm obviously
what areas
excited.
are we actually looking at beside governance?
Well, in terms of governance, like I said, first of all, governance, I look at governance in terms of leadership. So when I talk about institutional governments at whatever level, like His Excellency the Vice President led the delegation that had to deal with the oil and gas sector. A week before then, we had the Foreign Investment Network, and they were working with people who had to do with solid minerals. In fact, the United Arab Emirates committed $2.2 billion to solid mineral investment in Nigeria. And through Nigeria, that integration spreading across Africa. The Honorable Minister of State for solid minerals was present. And this wasn't just a promise, it was a delivery of commitment for the next steps of engagement. Those activations clearly are activations that take it forward. We had an opportunity to engage women. In terms of the investment presentation, we had Stella Ibiene Fubara there with the team from the Expo 2020 representation. I mean, having someone like Stella there in the first place, not as a Nigerian for Nigeria, but it's a global representation of Nigerian administration, leadership, and intervention, also tells the story of who we are as an Africa brand to the world, but more importantly, an Africa brand, an after brand to the UAE.
Okay, in terms of capacity, how ready are we for this partnership?
Now, when you say we, let me first take the fact that as women entrepreneurs, we are the single largest convergence of entrepreneurs anywhere on the face of economic entrepreneurship in the world. The Nigerian woman entrepreneur, our demographic puts us at #1. We are ready. We've been ready from the time our mothers were harvesting from the fields, from the farms, and going to the market to sell so as to sustain community along with family. So as Nigerian women entrepreneurs, we've been ready, we are ready, and we're taking this every stretch of the delivery of it. But it's not about a gender with agenda thing. It's more about, because you said we, I said let me go to my first we, which is women in enterprise. Women in business, management, political advocacy, women engaging all of those opportunities, but not just as women, for women. But it's about the leadership, the quality of leadership in terms of institutional enterprise. PEBEC the other day celebrated 5 years. That's the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council. And I mean, the milestones there are milestones that don't just hit home, they have global representation. So how ready are we? The political will is there. The will, the entrepreneurial will. Now, some people will look at it and say, but, you know, post-COVID, look at what is happening. Post-COVID, look at what is happening. It's incredible what is happening. Innovation is happening. I'm an entrepreneur in this city, and I want to say that the interventions that have come, both from our government to help enterprises to have a place of stabilizing in the midst of the COVID storm, that was an intervention that went to our workers, that went to the next steps for strategizing. Because what post-COVID has happened is businesses, business leaders have moved from just striving to survive to thriving through the motions of post-COVID and how.
Okay,
First of all, with
you actually
strategy.
talked about engagement.
Yes.
What are the takeaways from these engagements that you had?
We're now looking at the UAE, right?
Yeah.
We're looking at that. In terms of engagements, we're looking at investment opportunities from agriculture, right? Solid minerals, the oil and gas, creative. Engineer Mansour Ahmed, representing the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. I mean, there he was on the CNN profiling the interview. And you could see the excitement, the energy. Look at the diversity of the creative entrepreneurs there at Expo 2020. It's not just about something that's happening for a moment in time. You're looking at something that is now tracking other engagements, contracts, expressions of interest, not just within the UAE, but coming to Nigeria, so that we're able to set up accelerator hubs, innovation that crosses from what is physical to a market space that is virtual, that is global, that is the now. 2022 and looking beyond is sweet.
Okay, talking about 2022,
yes.
When should we expect the fusion from this engagement?
It started.
Okay.
The fusion is the reason we're having this business update. Okay. The fusion is the fact that you and I are... Look, I'm completely sold that it's not just a patriotic entrepreneur, but the reality is, in looking at all of the social challenges that have coming, and yes, that have created a state of, in certain areas and engagements, economic paralysis. I really think the challenge is analysis paralysis. So much has been analyzed. Speak to us, the entrepreneurs who are really going entrepreneurial, who are really innovating, working with the youth, working with women who have to make sure that they come home not just with bacon but with pomo. You know, the pomo that you're able to cook with, and we're able to do so much more. So yes, beans will be more expensive than rice, but you know what? We are innovating, and we're coming up with very, very...
Okay, what opportunities should women be taking advantage of?
Women take advantage.
Women entrepreneurs.
Women entrepreneurs. Look, every woman is an entrepreneur. Like I tell them, every woman is a politician. Look around you. There's so much happening. The Bank of Industry. In fact, there's so much happening to engage women at all levels of intervention. Working with the UN, working with our own government, working with the CBN, working with women in management and business. There are all kinds of advocacies working for women, with women, through women. Whoever you are, you're a woman in faith-based institutions. I am working with women. Find a woman who is able to resolve what there is. Nexim is set up the Women and Youth Enterprise Fund. You have NEPSA. You have what is it with the NE, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, where our DG Shegun, non-oil, I call him the non-oil crusader for non-oil exports and for women in particular. All of these programs are not programs that are being made up. Believe me, they are programs that are real. You say, well, how about you, Dara Benjamin's Lani? Have you benefited from the programs? I roll out programs. So what I do as an enterprise communicator is I communicate what I am opportuned because of my platforms to know about, and I present it to the various platforms. But as an entrepreneur, from the time I left Youth Corps till this date, which is over almost 30-something years, I have worked as an entrepreneur with my principal seed coming from my CEO,
okay,
my
how is the
husband.
Nigerian woman and women and youths ready? I mean, how ready are they to take the advantages?
Well, let me put it this way. There are two things. Emotionally, if you don't believe there are advantages, even if everywhere is screaming advantage, you don't go for it. What is an advantage? What you give yourself positionally to take, to hold, and to run with. You dream, you have a dream, an idea, and you work it till you get. People are saying, I need money.
Are they ready to take this advantage?
That's why I said the political will, governmental will is one thing, but you must have the will. An entrepreneur must have the will. Are you ready? That's the question I should ask you. Okay. I have a huge movement of youth that are ready. Amongst my own peers, I find that women are like tired. weary. But then when I find women like me who decide that we keep on trying and thriving because we keep seeking and finding the next opportunities. You don't need a lot of people, we just need enough. And for me, that is the real message of Nigeria at the cusp of everything we are at right now. Unity, faith, peace and progress. I'm a patriotic believer with the right heartbeat. Believe, only believe, really, that's it, because the opportunities are, they're magma.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dio Benjamin's Ladi.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Government will continue to partner the private sector in ensuring the availability of ICT infrastructure to enhance job creation for the Nigerian youth. Senior Special Advisor to the President on Job Creation, Ntalive, was speaking on the theme Discovering Your Potentials at the Surge Entrepreneurship Summit in Abuja.
The amount of global funds, investment that are coming into our tech space is enormous. Ventures Park just 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, 2 days ago, announced a closure of their fund, $4 million. And these funds are going to go into our investment. It's a Pan-African fund. Nigeria, we know, is going to benefit a lot, and other African countries. So the reality is that the tech infrastructure will be grown by a partnership between public and private. And I dare say largely the private sector. What you need from government is really just policy.
Oil prices slumped by more than 2% on Monday as surge in cases of the Omicron coronavirus variant in Europe and the United States stoke investors' worries that new restrictions on businesses to combat its spread may hit fuel demand. Brent crude futures fell $1.92 to $71.60 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures fell $2.09 to $68.77 a barrel. Now let's take a trip to the commodities market.